So, as promised, I want to teach you on how to write an undergraduate research project. Now, one of the most important requirements for graduating from tertiary institution is an undergraduate research project. An undergraduate student may be required to write a full research project under the supervision of his or her lecturer, which can be the supervisor, and the person that oversee your project is to checkmate error and the validity, to ensure validity of your project is the supervisor, while you that is writing the project, you are the supervisee. Okay, so this student may be assigned a lecturer for supervision during the period of this research. The research is usually carried out within the limit of student study. The undergraduate research project writing process could be very intimidating, but read through and listen to what I'm saying, you will get an in-depth knowledge of how to write a research project by yourself. Now, seriously, because I don't want mistakes that people of our time did. So that's why I took it upon myself to guide you with this video, okay, so that you not do mistake. But the first advice before I proceed to give you the tips and project format, I want to guide you first. When you want to write a project, don't just get a paper, full scrap, and just start writing like that. The first thing you do is to get materials, read several materials, make sure you have an in-depth knowledge of such topic under study before you start writing, okay? And make sure you don't just approach it and just start writing like that, okay? And another advice I want to advise you is, before you start submitting your manuscript to your supervisor or the first chapter to your supervisor, make sure these copies are given to other people that are expert in such field to go through it, expert in maybe project writing to go through it before you start submitting such material to your supervisor. Why I'm saying this is that when your supervisor start discovering your faults, maybe discovering your weak point, he will start putting eye on you. You start becoming strict on you. For instance, there are some people that just write rubbish. I saw a guy who, right from his chapter 1, immediately he submitted, it was just a mere jargon. The supervisor canceled barely everything, and he brought it to me and said, this man is wicked. And actually, when I saw it, I really know what the guy copied was just, and at the end he was saying, it's the same topic, I went to the library and got it, it's the same topic, this and that. And I say, okay, as I look at it, I saw errors. Somebody can write project and the supervisor might not be like even strict on it, just copy and paste and carry, the supervisor just collect, maybe because of relationship with the supervisor. So you are not the same with that person, so you can be so keen with your own. So don't just take jargon to it. So at the end, the guy said, already made project and his supervisor cancel almost chapter. When I look at it, I saw it is true, he deserved to be cancelled. Okay, so I just get a pen. If you are a final year student in any school, you want to learn this undergraduate research project format. So I'm like, the first thing now is to learn project format. Number one, we will talk of the preliminary pages before we go into the project main. On the preliminary pages, we have the title page, we have the approval page, we have the dedication, we have the acknowledgement, we have the abstract, we have the table of content, of course, list of figures, list of tables, and the main work, which is from chapter 1 to 5, then references and appendices. Okay, now the title page. Let's talk about the title page. The title page, this is where you will have to remember the name of your institution, For some school, they start with the topic of the project under study. They start with the topic. For instance, you write, let's say, attitude of female attitude of women in Obodo towards abortion in secondary schools in Obodo local government. Written by, you write your name and your registration number. Submitted to the department of, you write your department. Okay? And on the right hand side of the cover page, that is the title page, you write the date in which you are writing. The date does not just like today is 30th of you don't just put 30th, you put if it is June, you put June 2023 or June 2022. Okay? Now write out the name of your institution in full, the title of the research, the name of the person that is writing, your matriculation number, then the reason for the research. This is where you write it in partial fulfillment of the course requirement for the award of lateral certificate, BSc degree, Bachelor of Art, LLB, BEng. Write what is applicable to your course of study, then add the date to it. As I've said, the date should be at the left hand side. So pause a little, let me. So you can see what I have in my screen now is sample of cover page for your project. This is sample of cover page, how cover page should look like. That is it on my screen. That is it on my screen. That is it on my screen. Impartial fulfillment of the requirement for the award of Bachelor of Education degree, March 2020. Okay, that is that written by Inum Victor. Registration number, I remove it for security reason. So let's go to dedication page. This is the part of the research where the student can either choose to dedicate the research to God, to their friends, to their marriage partner, or to their parent or children. That is dedication. Now, acknowledgement. This is the part where the researcher writes to acknowledge those that contribute to the success of this research project. This is very simple, but I've been writing project for people for years, and then I've also been typing project for degree students and NC and so on. I've seen many people got confused in this acknowledgement. You see some people going to copy the acknowledgement of other people's project without even checking whether the name belongs to their own relative and so on. So it's very easy. So you can say your acknowledgement can read like this: with a heart full of gratitude to God Almighty, who is the solution and the great provider and the reason of our existence and the reason for our academic possibilities. To him be praised forever. A great appreciation to my supervisor. You state the name. So to acknowledge God Almighty. Second paragraph for your supervisor. The next paragraph for your friends and family, and that is all. So let's go to abstract. Also, abstract, this is where so many people got confused here. Abstract is a brief summary of the major points of a written work. Many people got confused when it gets to writing abstract. Abstract. The abstract is a brief summary of the major point, underlying major point of the written work. So major point, you only choose major point, and it is often written last with the tense in past. This summary is usually less than 100 words, and it is expected to summarize the problem statement, the research methodology, and recommendation. This should be in a single paragraph, and the word limit not exceeded. Okay, should not exceed 100 words, and it should be in a block paragraph, in a single paragraph. So abstract does have two paragraphs with a single line spacing. Okay. Now, table of contents. Table of content, the main heading and subheading and page number are listed here. So this is where, like, chapter 1, introduction, you write the page that the introduction fall under. Then you say statement of the problem, you write the page that the page number that the page fall under. So this is table of content. You arrange all the major subheading to form the table of content. The table of content should be edited at the end of the research so that every part of the work can be captured. Huh? Now go to the main body of the project now. So let's talk of chapter 1. Chapter 1, this is usually the introductory aspect, okay? It describes the background, not the heading, the background of the study, the scope and purpose of the research. The rest of the report of the project should be tied to the information supply. The researcher, as a researcher, you must try to present sufficient details regarding why the study was carried out in the background. Carefully laying out your content in a hierarchical order. That means you said chapter 1 background of the study, okay? Chapter 1 background of the study, outline it in a hierarchy. Some schools use background to the study. Theoretical framework for degree, they use theoretical framework. That means your topic, you bring theory that supports, that people have, scholars in that field have propounded that support that your topic. That is theoretical framework. Statement of the problem, purpose of the study, research questions, hypothesis, significance of the study, assumption of the study, scope of the study, limitation of the study, the challenges and what could hinder your research, okay? And definition of themes. All these are part of chapter 1. I tell people, say I won't drop this video for them. Wait.